Mrs. Mazurk, we have the thumbs up.
All right. So I guess, bear with me walking through this one, guys.
All good.
I guess I'd like to call to order.
Perfect.
Our meeting to go over policy 111 and 112 and adopting them as they're written.
Say again? Yes,
And
yes,
adopting them
yes.
as they're written.
Well, yep.
Did everybody get to read the material? Does anybody have any questions about it?
Just for note, I don't see public comment. I just want to make sure that,
Oh,
so, all good. Just want to make sure that's officially said.
it's always that first one. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Gann, but it seems like everything's pretty much straightforward, and these are things we do need to adopt. So I really don't have any questions about it. If anybody else does, if anybody has any discussion.
There are two in the first set I want to highlight. Again, I know we've said it before. Sorry if I'm...
No,
so,
please.
Majority of Press Plus 111 revolves around face law, and if you guys don't remember face law, or if the public doesn't have to know what face law is the new law that came into place in Illinois. If you are going to work with children, whether it's a daycare, school, etc., starting July 1, so we are now effectively in that date, anyone who is hired must pass a standard background check, but there also have to be we also have to reach out to the previous employers and ask them, previous employers where they work with children, if they have any kind of sexual misconduct or harassment, something like that in their background that they may not have actually gotten prosecuted for, so it wouldn't show up in a background check, but still might be a reason why they left that former place. And so that's one of the things that a lot of these Press 111 things talk about when it changes a background check, and it'll say face law or those kind of things. So when you go through 11, Press Plus 111 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are specific to face law. So it just kind of changing the hiring process to include that. So just so you guys know, people who don't, so if, let's say Ashley wants to come and work for District 150, 200U, sorry. Do you want to, yeah, if you want to work for 200U, we would, when she got hired in, we would ask, hey, Ashley, have you ever worked in any of the following things, daycare, schools? And she goes, no, I've just worked at my HVAC company, and I worked at Waltz before then. We actually don't reach out to the HVAC company or Waltz because that's not a child isolated place. Those companies also do not have to actually send us anything. So if we do send something out to 158, so if Ashley worked at Lansing and now came here, we sent something out to Lansing, we would wait 21 days and they actually don't have to respond. We just have to assume that it's in clear standing, and at that point in time we could move forward with the hire. So that's kind of face law in a nutshell. So. I do apologize to all the board members. I don't want to kill too many trees. So if you're on a board policy, so that's Mrs. Mazurek, Ms. Hanson, and Ms. Flores, they have the individual ones broken down. Everybody else, I gave you a couple PDFs. If I may, Ms. Mazurek, the two I would like you guys to look at, just to make sure that, because again, the thing we always want to avoid is controversy, and I don't need press here to kind of focus on 200U when things happen. So 6:135 on Press Plus 111. 6:135. You guys actually adopted this a while ago, but this is the first time it's actually been put into press. The law states that anyone who is in the highest level of an academic course achieves high grades and meets the high standards of English, science, and math automatically are enrolled in advanced placement courses. So the way we're reading that is if they do high, because all those are based on junior level classes, it basically says that if they do well in those three assessments, they're auto enrolled into our AP Calculus, AP Biology, AP Literature classes. So Mr. Sarsny will make sure that's all taken care of. But that's one of the laws that came down the line. They don't have to take them, they're auto-enrolled into them, and so when Mr. Sarsny sits down with them, he informs them, hey, you're an AP Bio, I don't want to be an AP Bio, okay, let's get you something else.
So they have the option too, like if they, if they start out in the class and they're struggling, say by mid-year, they have the option to maybe go back, or the next year they would like fall back.
So that's a little bit difficult because if the handbook, and I don't have it memorized anymore, Mr. Meyer could answer this. In the handbook, you have X amount of weeks to actually take the class, and if it doesn't work out for you, you can fall back. Mid-year doesn't work that way. Mid-year, then it's considered a drop, and then it shows up on your transcript. Now, 9 times out of 10, we work with the families. We understand. We want what's best for the kid, and we'll realize. So if they're in honors, Brit Lit, and they want to go to regular, we'll make that adjustment for them. What we don't want is, I really don't like foods, and it's the third quarter.
Right.
Yeah, those are the kind of
So
things.
I'm out of here at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I get it.
Exactly.
No, this is more before, and he's good, like, if the kid doesn't want to be in it, he also emails the parent and makes sure they understand stuff like that, like they have to, like, that's what I have in mind, you know, I don't want to take honors classes, are you sure? I need your guardian to say that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's before you enroll, like automatically that's your schedule, but if you want to, he's really good about making sure that the parent is aware.
So that's one of those that Mike and,
Yeah.
Mr. Meyer and Steve, he's not Mr. Steve, will make sure it gets followed through on. The second one is kind of the one that if you watch any kind of Facebook board meeting right now, not specific to Illinois, but you know, where all the controversy is, you have people reading the school boards, books that are allowed in libraries. So 6230 is the ability for families to address concerns with specific books. I can tell you right now what would happen is if a family had a problem with one of those books, by the way, all the books that are bought by Ms. Plentz, Ms. Burdick, and Ms. Berger, they're very conscious of the world that we live in. They always make sure with the administration that any book they do is, in their opinion, child age appropriate. But if a family didn't like a specific book, I'll be very honest with you, before I bring it to you, I will take it to Mr. Izzo and make sure that the complaint has to have some kind of warrant, some merit to it. We have to be very conscious of violating First Amendment rights, so I will make sure I will give the lawyer's opinion on it before I bring it to you, and then I'll let you guys know, hey, this is the concern, this is what our lawyers have to say about it. But that's what that 6230 does. It provides a right to a parent to say, hey, this book should be in our school library.
And that's what I was going to clarify too, it's kind of an option, that even though this has been controversial for some parents,
Yep.
they have that option, but they kind of object, and like you said, if it's valid,
Right.
then we can move forward with it.
Right. I can, of the few videos I have seen on Facebook, I assure you we don't have any of those types of books where we're using the F word to describe those kind of things. And so, Ms. Plentz, Ms. Burdick, and Ms. Berger do a very good job of providing information, but not, what we're going to say, sexualizing the school.
So, accepting the Press Plus means that we're adopting the American Association, their Bill of Rights into our.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And whenever you say adopting, you guys have lawyers at IASB that have gone through all these things. ISA has lawyers that have looked at all these. Our lawyers haven't. I'm not about to pay our lawyers a plethora of money for them to look at it. But this is kind of, the association you all are part of has said, hey, we've gone through all the legal rigmarole. These are the things that have to be in there. And then when we get to this level, it's, if there's something uber, what do I want to say, controversial, that's when I would obviously bring it up to you and say, hey, this is what our lawyers are saying, this is what the ramifications are. Kind of like we did with the sex ed class that was never adopted here, so we were kind of not part of that. Damn it. So that's 111, and then like I said, 112, there's literally no updates. It is all the 5-year reviews, and it's new legal cases that have taken place. So as I said, the IASB lawyers have gone through, they've updated all the footnotes, the legal jargon, things like that, and they've just put those in there. So I don't think if you go through 112 individually, you're gonna find anything written in there that's kind of even crossed out that's more than a footnote. So pretty easy, nice first one for a policy committee.
And then I just wanted to kind of ask you a question about the community use of school facilities.
Yep.
Like in here, I just noticed things about, I read it and it's pretty straightforward, but like when we have groups that do use our schools, for instance, I think there's a group that plays basketball here of
Yep.
adults. And the elementary, I don't know if they're still playing, are they?
I'd have to ask
I don't
Mr.
think that
DuBois.
they've gotten the permission or the code yet. but,
Right.
I was just wondering, like, do they sign a waiver of liability? Is
Yeah.
that something we should think about?
They have to submit us a, what's your group?
Beach
Beach Rec, thank you. Beach Rec, yeah, they have to issue us a certificate of insurance to notify us that they're
So it's
covered.
kind of your beach rec? Is it kind of
Well,
like
that's
that
not,
group?
but.
That group
that's
isn't Beach
not.
Rec, but yeah.
Okay.
But
okay.
they do it in order
Right.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yep, same with the Muskies, if they use our baseball, anybody who uses our facilities, they have to give us some kind of insurance form that says that they are covered, everything is taken care of in that manner.
So like, for instance, this group of guys that play basketball every now and again, do they have a certificate of insurance? Or that's what I'm wondering, like, should we have them sign liability, waiver of liabilities?
They have one.
They do, okay.
Yep, yep.
Okay. I was just curious, because
Yep.
I just know that's a bunch of guys, and I
Yep.
think it's a great thing, but I
Yeah.
just thought, well, maybe, I don't know if that's addressed or not,
Yep.
so.
Yeah, I don't think there's a group here that, even the families, or the parents who want to do that dance last year, they kind of had to go through some hoops with me to make sure that, because I don't want us to have any kind of, I shouldn't say that. I don't want anybody to get hurt, but I don't want liability to fall on us. So, good question.
I have a question about 5 to 60, the student teachers.
Yep.
So in the Press Plus comments,
What number was that again?
111 to,
5:260 student teachers, it's Press Plus 111. It just says consult the board attorney for guidance regarding whether student teachers or interns who are typically unpaid qualify as employees, who also must go undergo, like, so if we have a student teacher or an intern and they've worked in a child, do we
Right.
do that, what is it, EHR
So,
with them too, or?
so there's still a lot of gray area with face law, even
Okay.
talking to Mr. Gleason from the law firm. What we're assuming, and again, you know what happens when you assume, but what we're assuming is when we get a student teacher, it's the same as like the criminal background checks, that the university's in charge of making sure all those things are handled
Okay.
before they send them on our way. I know Mr. Meyer, the last one we had, which was Palin, Mr. Palin, his university provided Mike all of that information, so.
Okay.
But- And it's probably one of the things that Mike will add as a stipulation, if you're gonna come to Beecher, we need to make sure that there's,
That you've passed this
right.
employment history review or anything?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that was just, for 111, that was the only, well, that and the two we discussed that stood out for me.
What's up, Mike? How you doing? Great.
Does anybody have any more questions or want to have any more discussion on these two policies?
Just curious, in Press Plus 112 for 4:45, it's just a general question, it's not
Oh, okay.
specific to. Like, that particular policy is about how we can get assistance to collect from outstanding families. So do we have a lot of that happens, that we're collecting from?
So if you're asking me if we've sent anybody to collection, the answer to that is no.
Okay.
I have found very few superintendents who actually do that. Right, so we've had a lot of success the last 2 years when we started putting stipulations on dances and like this.
Graduation.
um,
Okay.
You know, extra activities that necessarily aren't required,
Okay.
but optional. So we found some success in that. We also changed our registration set up to where now when you register, you have to pay something before you even register.
Okay.
Whether it's the fee waiver gets brought in, or I think they can pay a portion of it on there. So before you even register, you have to give us some kind of money.
Yeah.
So those kind of small things have kind of helped in that regard.
Right.
It's once you start going to collection, then it kind of.
Yeah, because it looked like some of the things that they get a little hairy if you wanted to go to have that intergovernmental agreement to help them collect and.
Right.
I just wondered if that's something we would ever need to utilize?
I think if we got more than, an individual family, more than thousands, we might have that conversation, but I think even our heaviest hitters were at most 12 to 1,400.
Well, yeah, one of the things they did state in there as an example, or I saw as an example as I was reading through the information provided, was, it was more, so, like, if you did, like, for school districts who accepted audit districts, and we don't.
Oh, we don't do that at all.
No, we don't. So, okay, thank you.
Are we adopting those in this meeting or in our regular?
So, in the regular meeting, they'll have the first reading, and then next month in August, you'll do your second reading, and after that, we'll do it. So it's in your committees, and this is a generality that we'll talk about today at the retreat. Your committees really can't do a whole lot. You guys, even though there's 7 of you here, you can't vote on anything. You just kind of, I bring the information to the committee has conversations, and then you all give me direction at the end of that meeting to move forward. And then when we have the regular board meeting, now when you see something, we can say, hey, facilities knew about the fence that was going to be moved forward with, and so it's not a big surprise to everybody. So I guess your part here, Ms. Mazurk, would be, as a committee, we're going to recommend moving forward with the first reading of the Press Plus 111, 112.
And exactly that. As a committee, we are going to go ahead and recommend moving forward with Press 111 and 112 first reading.
Fantastic.
And if nobody has any more questions or discussion, I guess I can close this committee meeting.
Well done.
Are you ready, Katie? Okay. Okay, I'd like to call to order the July board meeting. It is 5:54 p.m. All members are present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so everyone in front of you had the board minutes. So I need a motion to approve the minutes of the Facilities Committee meeting minutes of June 9th, 2023, the Personnel Committee meeting minutes of June 9th, 2023, the amended budget meeting minutes of June 12th, 2023, and the regular board meeting minutes of June 12th, 2023.
So moved.
Oh, second.
Okay.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flickling,
Yes.
Diachenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the Personnel Committee executive meeting minutes of June 9th, 2023, and the regular board meeting executive session minutes of June 12th, 2023.
So moved.
Second? I need a second, sorry.
Oh, I'll second.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flickling,
Yes.
Diachenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We didn't have any extra paper for June 2023 expenses, so just what was in our packet. So a motion to approve the June 2023 expenses as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flickling,
Yes.
Diachenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mike.
Mike, but we also don't have a public comment in here. Do we want to go ahead and do that now? It's not listed.
Sure. You can ask.
Just
for
add
me.
it in there. Okay, I just want to make sure, I
You
didn't
can
want
make it down.
to, didn't want to miss it. So acknowledging that there are no slips for public comment, we're going to move on to the treasurer's report.
Very good. The balance in the supernow account at First Community at the end of June was $4,808,196.32. There were outstanding checks for $31,594.57. The June payroll expense carryover totaled $32,721.76. We had impressed fund expenses of $89,2790. leaving an adjusted bank balance at $4,734,952.09. Lunch program balance, $57,5036. Impress fund at $5,000, leaving that total balance at $4,745,702.45. The investment totals were $4,202,765.26, leaving the balance of all funds at the end of June at $8,948,467.71. June receipts totaled $4,739,995.90. Expenses, $1,362,696.56. The individual fund balances: education fund, $5,956,995.33. Building fund, $706,311.78. Bond and interest, negative $74,261.86. Transportation fund, $1,008,204.99. IMRF, $251,113.14. Working cash, $224,484.69. Tort fund, $294,201.75. Life safety came in at $581,417.89. Interest in June at First Community was $91,8152. I did highlight that was up just over 1.25%, which was good to see. The state had several distributions as usual. State aid, $265,913.80. Special milk, $7.04. School lunch, $14,674.83. State free lunch, $34.68. And driver's ed reimbursement, $2340.91. And we had 2 distributions of real estate taxes in June. The second distribution, $3,673,143.19. The third distribution, $390,229.40. I totaled it, and it's down about $1.2 million from last year through those first totals. So I don't know.
For the real estate?
Yeah.
Maybe like late paying or.
Well, I know a couple years ago, they split them into quarterly payments as well.
Right.
I don't know if they're still doing that or not.
The option.
But all 3 are down quite a bit from last year, so. But is
I
that-
don't remember. I remember you saying you could split it into 2. I don't remember 4
Yeah,
on the
they did,
paper.
they did 4 last year.
They did?
Yeah, that's-
That's why I couldn't remember for this year.
That could be.
So just a reminder, there's a $1.16 difference in your guys' limited rate this year, in the rate this year, because there's no longer a bond payment.
Right.
So that could totally be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your tax bill is gonna be significantly lower this year because you're paying for 487-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah, and not the 620. So,
Do we have any questions on the treasurer's report? If not, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Missouri?
Yes.
Blickling?
Yes.
Yuchenko?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Flores? Yes. Motion carried.
Okay, you're up, Dr. Dehan.
all right, so we got a couple things. It's all in my report, but I want to make sure that I give an opportunity for the public to hear some of the updates around Beecher 200U. First off, we had 0 FOIAs this past month. That's policy 2140, so the board can know we had 0 FOIAs. The following projects are either starting today or they're starting this week. The roof is going to start on July 17th, no later than. He's gathering all the materials now. The insurance did finally pay the first third of the agreement plus the damages that were done, so the insurance has covered that part of the roof. So they've worked with Total Roofing, it's all gonna be covered, minus our deductible. The fence was started today, so if you drive by there, you'll see it. The relining that was approved, I wanna say that it was the last thing approved by the previous board, that started today as well. So the relining of the pipes here at the high school are getting taken care of. ServPro got their second to last check released this week, and I think there's still a small outstanding balance due to them. So hopefully, all the insurance companies will get all taken care of. I was involved in an insurance meeting today for our co-op, and there's lots of money being spent by our co-op to lots of school districts, so we're not in the minority there. Say Mike.
Okay.
Our audit is going to be next week. They're going to start on 17th? Monday. So they'll be here on the 17th, probably through the 18th. It's Gass and Smith and McGlasgow. So they'll be here next week. So it'll be an exciting time for Katie. It's her first time being with our audit.
And did everybody get a letter?
Yes, you all should have gotten a letter signed by me. They wrote it, I did.
And it's normal, it's nothing
Yeah,
unusual.
yeah.
Yes. So that's going to be next week, and then the last thing is, I sent in my board report. Mr. Herman made a comment about the activity funds are kind of high, and part of it is we're in that summer flow, and some of them saving up. But I talked to Mr. Meyer, and one of the programs is that huddle camera. It's a significant cost, and it's one of those things we were going to cut because it's a big expense to the school district. Well, talking to Mr. Meyer, there is a $21,000 CD that's sitting there. It's been, at least was there when I was started as principal here, so it's been there at least 5 years. And we've kind of just sat on it. And the huddle camera helps multiple sports, it helps the band program, it helps our promotion program. I mean, we can live stream things from the den. And so Mr. Meyer and I agree it's going to be a good cost to spend that on. So we're going to find out when that CD matures. We're going to have Huddle kind of give us a multi-year cost, and that's going to go towards that. So I know we've had some students even earn scholarships from what that Huddle thing provides us. So it's smart money being spent. So that's kind of what we decided to do with that money on the activity fund.
So we can live stream like the games and events and concerts and things like that, but it's not, because I've seen how other schools, like you have to get a subscription or you have to.
So that was another option we could have explored if we didn't want to use so again, it's an actual Huddle camera. It's not owned by, well, I guess it's technically owned by us, but it's not owned by us, it's owned by Huddle, through the subscription. Had we canceled Huddle, they would have taken the camera with them. We could have gone another avenue, which is the site you're referring to. You have to subscribe to it. The IHSA, and I believe ISA uses that. So that's why you gotta constantly pay to stream. Again, we don't wanna, we're trying our best not to.
This one is not a pay to
100%
stream.
free.
Perfect.
As long as it's on.
Yeah. I don't want people, it's very frustrating when you go to other places.
So yeah,
That CD is up now.
CD's up now, like this moment. So.
It was probably the end of June 20-something.
So that's kind of everything that's going on right now. Any other questions that were in my report, or?
Custodian still not happening.
So I kind of gave Mr. Sunula and I have had a lot of good conversations. We understand, and I said this, a year and a half ago when we were in this boat. My ideal situation is there are people that we control, that we kind of monitor. It didn't work out at the elementary. With Elizabeth retiring, I'm very happy for her, we've been down as a custodian at the junior high. We've had that posted now for every bit of 7 months. We kind of piecemeal at the end of the year with Stephanie, who does a great job, but she's a college student. She can do what she can. I don't want to rely on a high school student to be the custodian at night. I know it's great, they can give me 2 or 3 hours. So I kind of give Mr. Nula a deadline of next Friday. If we don't have somebody in a firm hire, we're going to move and work with GDI. They, now again, they may not honor that because it was 3 or 4 months ago, but they came in at about $7,500. I know $6,700 for the junior high, which again, pretty close to breaking even. It's all said and done. So the caveat might be games, but we'll get that figured out. Somebody, whether that be Darwin sets it up for us or we'll get it figured out. But it's where we're at.
And then our vacancies.
If anybody knows a math teacher, I beg of you, please reach out to family, friends, whomever. We need a high school math teacher.
Did we get bilingual filled?
So the bilingual one we have open because not this upcoming year, but probably the following week, we're going to by law have to have somebody in that position. We'll have more than 20 non-native English-speaking students there, kind of like we're at the elementary. We still have EL certified people who can do the EL services, so I still want one, but we're not quite as in a bad spot as we are with the high school math, so, yeah.
And then I see we have more aides resigning at the elementary and stuff like that. I know before when we had talked about not adding that fourth section, just because
We're too short on aides.
okay, but that was, the kind of caveat to that was if the numbers got high enough, then we could get an aide in there to help for each teacher, and not, because we're still deficit spending. But is that going to be possible? I mean, if we're short aides already, I understand the teachers already moved their classrooms and it's more strain on them and stuff like that, but I also don't want non-optimal learning for those students.
I would agree with that. I don't think we ever say we would get an aide per teacher.
Well, if the
But-
numbers had gotten high, that was what was thrown out there.
Right.
As you go, you get more
Additional,
students
yeah.
because, you can't hire a teacher halfway through the year. Mostly it's impossible to get. But getting closer and having a 21-day turnaround to hire someone,
Right.
I don't know where we want to go with that.
So in terms of staffing for our paraprofessionals, the vacancy we still have is at the high school. And in the EC classroom. So every grade level at the elementary still has a special ed and a gen ed aide. So each grade level has one of those. At least the document I saw today, I asked for an update on that. The junior high has 4, the high school has 2. And so they're looking for the high school right now.
Okay.
So, but, I mean, again, would we be able to hire them?
I know. It's
mean-
just, I don't want to it's getting down to the numbers. I know we don't have
Yeah.
exact numbers because registration's isn't until next week. I just want to be proactive as possible because as you get closer to the school year, pickings are slimmer and slimmer and slimmer.
I would agree with that statement.
And I don't want the classes to be huge. I mean, I know we don't, yes, the referendum passed, but we don't have the money yet. And we can't spend like we have.
As Mr. Peters just pointed out, the revenue right now is about $1.2 million.
I know.
Again, that was bonds, but,
Yeah.
and I provide, again, I'm just the superintendent, you guys kind of give me the direction of where you want me to go. I've provided you my thought on that,
Yeah.
because, again, call me the mean guy, I guess I can be. My job is to make sure that both we're fiscally responsible and the kids get,
Yeah.
kids get an education.
And as of right now, those numbers aren't outrageous. I mean, like I said, a couple of years ago, that's the class size I had. Last year, I was 10 less. They fluctuate so much.
And it's a
just-
big number for Beecher.
It is.
It's a very big,
Yeah.
and I'll be completely honest with you. It's not a big number if you go other places, but
Yeah.
for Beecher, it's a big number. 28 is a big number.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the 3 teachers at the 4th grade level are veteran teachers. They're
Yeah.
good teachers, but I also don't want to drain them.
Yeah.
Is there a way, this is like a unicorn at this point, knowing that, is there a way to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone and post a position and ask for either a math or an ELA endorsement in that elementary teacher? Because if we have 2 retirements, you could hire someone that would potentially go up to the junior high to replace one of those. So we may be
After
Sit.
next year.
deficit. So we have a huge 4th grade
Right?
with 28 kids, potentially going to 30.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But
So
we have
in 2 years.
We have 2 retirements, so if a teacher can get hired with a math or English certification, which upper elementary teachers, many of them do, because they
Right.
teach, you move classrooms, we could potentially fill, like what happened with teachers
Yeah, they
going
do
from one to
4th,
another.
5th, junior high.
That teacher could, maybe not this fall, maybe it's too late, and we figure out, because they also have to do art. So we're asking 4th grade to really have a lot on their plate right now.
Right.
But if that could be posted, you can have a December graduate, which isn't ideal for the kids, but hey, we could find someone with math or ELA that we could hire to follow that class into 5th grade and then go to the junior high and replace a retirement.
It's the same logic we use with our,
You know, like-
she was a 5th grade teacher, now she's a 2nd grade teacher. The reason we kept that 5th grade teacher and didn't rip them is because we're able to, when Beth retired,
Right.
slide, I mean, now,
And
can we
post a job with
specifically,
that.
we can post when we look to hire and hope that happens, I mean, I don't
Because that
think we're
could-
gonna specifically say you better, or we're.
No, but say
Yeah.
we are strongly looking for someone with a math or ELA background that could, maybe even in 2 years, get that endorsement. Somebody who's willing to, because that could, we maybe, right now.
That
but
would be,
then we
honestly,
don't have
that
to
would be like
rehire.
impossible.
Yeah.
Because even to get a teacher that knows they're looping for Beecher, I think is impossible. Because
Well, they
it's,
wouldn't know, I mean, we have enough teachers with, someone may choose to go up, but somebody
yeah,
with
but
that.
usually if you hire, you have to
Well-
put that in, that
Yeah.
that they're not a fourth grade teacher. Next year, they would be a fifth grade teacher, and then after that,
You don't, you don't have to do
Yeah.
that at all.
No,
So once they
well,
become our.
it's
employee-
nice to do it.
It is nice to do that, correct, but once they become
Yeah.
our employees, as long
Yeah,
as
they
it
can go
falls within
wherever
the
you want.
certification, correct.
well, we could let them know that that would be,
Right.
that's something we may ask of them, but like I said,
Yeah, There's
that,
nothing saying you can't post a position and not hire for it.
Yeah,
So if you guys want me to, I can post a elementary school position, see what happens with registration week, be in communication with you guys, and then move forward with.
and maybe write
That's an
something to
idea.
say we're strongly, that someone with a math or ELA background is in high demand here, and maybe someone will apply, and you're down a little bit for a year, but then we don't have to replace someone later. We're not actually adding a position permanently.
Right.
Because all, because
Yeah.
K1 and 2 are small classes.
I assume when you say English, you're talking about the two retirees. that are on
Correct.
this,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Right, is that we're gonna have to replace them at some point, but this doesn't add a position overall forever. It just early replacement, so we're only adding one, because, 28 is a lot, especially now that they have to do art. That's just a lot to ask. Unless we find
well, that's definitely
I
true.
mean, I just think it's gonna be difficult if we have anybody move in. The numbers are gonna get high, so, as I said, even maybe not, it may not happen for August, but thinking to January or even next fall, it may stink for a year, but putting that out there and seeing what floats, it's not a permanent addition where we're increasing the budget, increasing the deficit a long time.
What percentage of people register right away? Like when
Yeah.
do you get that number that's probably close to what it is? Or are we like going up to day before and people are like, you got like 15% of people
So-
register?
Yeah, that's,
So registration week, we will probably have 80%?
okay.
We'll probably have 80% of people registered.
Oh, okay,
And then, a lot of the chasing is the 20%.
okay.
But usually our numbers don't go off that much. We don't have a lot of people move in and out. Like our numbers every year, usually what we end with is usually about what we start with.
And to be fair, new families move in August, they don't move in
Yeah.
in July.
Right.
They wait for the school year to start, and then you see a lot of move-ins, and,
Right, that's, yeah.
yeah.
I know.
So even if, you guys can email me next Friday and say, hey, Jack, where we're at, I can give you the 80%, but.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. It's not ideal, I get it, I get it.
I know. There's no great answer.
Supposed to
Because I know we had said
retirement.
before, we can't start spending the money, we don't have it yet.
Right.
But our first and foremost thing has to be quality, like the best education we can give the kids, and that's optimally lower class sizes. But I know also, at the last meeting, Ms. Black had said that would mean switching classrooms again on the teachers, because they had just switched and got everything, and lots of teachers had moved classrooms, and
Right.
making them, contacting them now and telling, I'm assuming a fifth grade teacher would have to move down because they want to stick all the fourth grade ones together. That's also not an ideal
They
situation.
couldn't do it right now, because we're cleaning and waxing.
Oh, and everything's out?
Yes.
So now's the time to do it if
No,
possible?
now is the time not to do it.
Yeah. I know, I just know how much that sucks too, to move your classroom and then have to move it again, because I had to move mine like 2 or 3 times last year, and it was horrible. But it's what would be best for the kids, probably.
And there's always a lot of talk about test scores, so you pop 30 in a room
Yeah, I know.
instead of 20, that can make a big difference.
So if you like, I can have Ms. Danula post something. That doesn't say we have to hire, but at least we'll start drawing some candidates in there and see where that takes us. Is
I
that what you'd
honestly
like?
think we should.
Okay.
It's just,
Okay.
it's a big number, and especially for Beecher, it really is.
Mhm.
It's not, like I said, I've had that many before, and in 5th grade, 4th grade, they're bigger, it's doable. But man, the bigger those kids are, the tighter it is in there,
You just don't want something that's just doable, you want something
Yeah,
that's.
yeah, that's the optimal for him,
And you
yeah.
can say someone with a K through 8th grade certification, preferred, math, ELA preferred. You never know, somebody
Yeah.
may be looking to switch schools, somebody may be a December graduate. And
Where,
just,
I'm sorry.
you know.
I was just thinking, where are we at with other like grades and classroom sizes? And are any of those teachers able to, like, can we accommodate for a lower grade with a lower class
Mhm.
size and move one of those teachers up? Do they have that
No.
type of?
Yeah, that's a really good, that's a really good question.
Mhm.
Everywhere else is already at 3, so that's kind of what we did this year. We took that 3rd grade and we kind of dispersed them to other locations to compensate, so everybody got to 3. That's with the retiree that we had left this past year, we did with it.
But you can't go down to 2.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like 40,
Yeah.
because there's like 16 each grade.
I'm trying to pull
It's a
up
good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the numbers from last meeting, but.
If they didn't put out there and see what hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Just watch, wait, there's have to watch those numbers.
right.
I mean, maybe they'll go down. I don't know, you never know.
Well, Beecher's a hopping place. These numbers are only going up.
I know, I
All
know.
those houses going up in Hunter's Chase? Those lots.
You don't
Are
want,
there-
yeah, you don't want to dig that, I mean,
I know, I see a big difference.
I know we don't want to dig that hole, but if we're gonna dig it for something, it should be for kids.
I know.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I
That's,
mean?
that's where I'm at.
Knowing
If we're,
that
if we're
in-
gonna deficit spend some more for a teacher, that's
Right.
one thing, that's the best thing you can do.
Especially knowing that in 2 years, we're gonna have retirements,
Yeah.
and that potentially we just replace that, so that addition isn't gonna sit on us.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes
It's
away.
at a 26.
Or even, you know,
Well, yeah, because if we are lucky enough to find someone that can move up in the grade, then we don't have to worry about replacing one of those retirees
Correct.
in 2 years.
Or you have existing
I mean,
teachers that
or-
move up. I mean, we just
Yeah, yeah.
had 2 teachers move up from elementary to junior high just this past year.
right.
So there's other teachers that are looking to move up and stuff, especially as they get older and
Mhm.
what.
It's not
It
change the
doesn't-
I thought we had
pace,
2.
too.
I thought we had Seraphin and,
No, that Seraphin
Seraphin
was
Right.
3 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tildes was,
Yep.
oh no. Yeah, or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, there's,
Everybody wants to work for Michelle, I'll tell you what. Okay, I will get it posted, and I'll give you guys, next week, I'll give you some feedback. I may not give it to you on Friday, I may actually wait for Fridays to be done and then get it to you the following week, but give you an update on our numbers. I assure you, Ms. Black will be watching them very closely.
yeah. Okay. Moving on to old business, we have our student handbook changes, the second reading. We had the first reading last month. So I need a motion to approve the student handbook changes that were presented by the principals. Second reading as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Missouri?
Yes.
Worthing?
Yes.
Yushchenko?
yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Mel?
Yes.
Flores?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, and then we need a motion to approve the fence master's quote as submitted for $10,881 for the softball fence to protect our roofs and air conditioning units. This was discussed at the last facilities meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Worthing?
Yes.
Yushchenko?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Mel?
Yes.
Flores?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Do we have them out for seal
So
coat?
with the seal coating at facilities, we also talked about the east lot of the high school here, which is the teacher's lot, the student lot, and then the east drive of the elementary. The company that we used normally sold. The new company that took over for them, it's basically still the same people. They were trying to get an estimator out here last week due to some unforeseen circumstances. They weren't out here, so I don't have a quote for you. So I put it on there just in case. This morning, Mr. Spinella happened to walk into my office, but regretfully, he did not. But
Do we have like a rough estimate? We can say like not to exceed blah, 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 so that it can be approved to get done, or, you know, like we've done before?
that is a great question. Mike did give me a number. I want to say it was 10 or 11 last time, but I don't know.
That's what I was wondering. I mean, if it's under 10,
Yeah.
you don't even need,
Yeah, I do.
oh, it's under 5. 5, you're, yeah, you wanted 10, but. You said no.
No, we didn't say no. I
Like when it's
took it off the
like
the
7,
table.
8.
Because it got out there, apparently the superintendent wanted to spend money, which he said.
Do you want us to say not to exceed 12 to be safe? I just don't want to push it and then,
Right.
because that's something that needs done before people start driving on it for school and
Agreed.
everything like
We
that.
can't wait till August to do
Yeah,
this.
so
I'm perfectly fine with, if you guys are comfortable with that,
I mean, it's something we have to do, it's
It
a
is.
maintenance.
Well, is it feasible that if we get it approved, then it will get done?
yes, if you
Yeah,
tell me not to
yeah.
exceed, if
No,
you say that,
but
yeah.
like they have the whomever we
Oh, yeah.
The time
contract
to do
with.
it, well,
Oh, yeah.
okay. I mean, we just said to, so we'll do that. I need a motion to approve the seal coating quote, when it comes in, not to exceed $12,000.
So moved.
Second.
Flippin,
Yes.
Diachenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Harmon, Belt,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Just want to make sure Mike didn't
Yeah.
send it to me.
Yeah.
He's gonna send, he's watching, he's gonna send it to you right now. It's $12,050.
Yeah.
I'll give you a $50 bill on it.
Okay, so moving on to new business. So I need a motion to acknowledge the resignation of elementary school teacher aide Tressa Clayton. Oh wait, before I get started, is there anyone we need to separate out? That anybody want to separate out, or can I make it the poll? Okay, sorry, I forgot to do that. So, motion to acknowledge the resignation of elementary school teacher aide Tressa Clayton, elementary school teacher aide Diana Jerkadis, and boys and girls assistant soccer coach Alyssa Kraus.
So moved.
Second.
Diachenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flippin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the retirement of junior high math teacher Tiffany Seraphin for the fiscal year '26 and junior high English teacher Jeanette Stein for fiscal year '26.
So moved.
3 years, what's this fiscal year '26?
No, no. Yeah, this will be 24, 25, 26,
Yeah.
so, somebody said 2.
Oh,
So moved.
Second.
Hanson,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Belt,
yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flippin,
Yes.
Diachenko.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the employment of high school boys assistant soccer coach Jonathan Kaporis.
So moved.
Second.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flippin,
Yes.
Diachenko,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And I need a motion to approve the plus 11, is this supposed to be 111?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I thought that was typo. 111 and 112, the first reading that we had the meeting before this one.
So moved.
Second.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flippin,
Yes.
Diachenko.
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, then moving on to begin the board retreat, I need a motion to proceed to executive session for the purpose of 5 ILCS 120-2C1.
So moved.
Sounds like a charity.
Second.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Flippin,
Yes.
Diachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Are you good, Katie? Okay, we don't need to motion, we just say we're back in session, right? Okay, so the time is 7:14 PM on July 10th, 2023. We are back in session for the July board meeting. Do you want to amend our executive session motion?
You
We
need
need-
to, yes.
Yes, okay. I need a motion to amend our executive session purpose to include 5ILCS 120-2C11. Could I have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Flores,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Wickling,
Yes.
Dewchenko,
Yes.
Hanson, sorry,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
How's Jim?
I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself there.
Yep.
Okay, so for the board retreat, we discussed the board and superintendent responsibilities kind of a little, or no, we haven't? We just did
No,
the
that's
vote.
what I
Okay,
just,
okay.
I just passed that out to everybody.
Okay.
So I just passed along, hopefully you have your committee assignments, and then from Ms. Belt. And then what I did find was back in 2021, which was my first year going into this position, 2 documents. The first is kind of the board protocols. This is what the board themselves, it's the front and back document. This is what that board at that time, coming out of the old superintendent and going into working with me, kind of came up with alongside of the IASB representative. So I thought it was a good idea to share those with you guys, and you can kind of look through those 11 items, see if those protocols still fit what you guys believe you want to do. And sorry. Should be 3.
So then will we review and adopt this as kind of like a board protocol? Or,
It's not so much in our policy, it's more of like a good faith agreement
got it.
that we have between each other, that we will follow these.
There are 11 really good talking points to open discussions. If there's anything in here that, in particular, there's one that, you know what, like, this is one thing that I know I want to make sure that I do, or this is one thing I want to make sure is, because remember, where we were at with the before my tenure here to where we've come as a board, day and night. And a lot of it had to do with kind of these general agreements and understanding that you seven have a very important position. As seven, you're strong. As one, you're not. To respect everybody and to make it the strongest seven you can. I remember my big thing 2 years ago, was number 11. My goal is to never, ever, ever, ever be in front of that camera and surprise you with something. I don't, that's a really bad way of doing things. If you get surprised by something from me, then I'm not doing my job. And so that's why I try my best. My phone is always open. Give me a call, give me a text if you have any questions about things. Email's not always open because of some personal reasons that happened a few years ago, but I'm always available via phone or text from you guys. But if you email me at 6 o'clock at night, there's a chance I'm not getting it.
Yeah. And most of these things were an issue in some way, shape, or form at the time, so it's good just to make sure everyone's on the same page and everyone kind of agrees to respect and follow each other with these things, and these are also the things that are most likely to cause issues among a board, either members or with administration or teachers.
I'd also be very, very mindful of social media in terms of posting, because if you do post something asking for an opinion, and one of you guys respond, it does become a violation of OMA, especially if you have people blocked or anything like that. So if you put out there, I'm going to do a quick survey, what do you think the school needs? You can't do that. As a
So
personal
you're not giving
citizen, do what you want to do on
everyone-
social media. I'll never tell you not to, but just be very careful on social media.
And mindful that you're speaking as a community member
Right.
when you're making that comment.
You're a board member first, no matter what you want to believe. You're not a parent first, you're a board member first. So anything you post, you're posting on behalf of the school, even though it's Adriana Diachenko on the line. Even though it's a parent, it's not. You're a board member first.
So do we have any questions, concerns, anything anybody wants to add or thinks also needs to be in addition?
I'm good with this.
The next paper we have are we can do the board superintendent communications. So is the expectations for the board and the expectations for the superintendent. And then along with this, is there any other expectation that anyone thinks that we need to add that we would need from Dr. Gaham? Is there anything that Dr. Gaham, you think that you would need from the board that we could add?
I'm a no.
I'm good with this as well.
So I do send a lot of emails out. If email isn't the best way, like if you're someone who just doesn't, you don't have your email attached to your phone or things like that, or if you're, call me, Jack, or text, if you're a call or text, let me know, because obviously most of you are new, let me know that. I'll still put it in an email, so there's a paper trail and not hiding anything for anybody, but, you know, if Randy, hey, I'd really like to be called when something happens, let me know. I'll gladly pick up the phone and call you. Otherwise, I kind of assume email gets to you. Most of you, I text others.
If it gets to a point where it's something that we need to address kind of quickly, if you can maybe just send me a text to, hey, check your email, there was an email sent to you, that will help me be like, okay, great.
Request a text.
Yep, yeah, that's no problem.
All my
Yeah.
email notifications.
Yeah, no, like my superintendent reports, I won't text you on, but yeah, if there's something that happens in the next week or two, I'll make sure that
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Or if there's something that happens at the school, you'll send us an email. So we're not hearing it out in the community
Right.
first.
Versus
Yeah.
first and first.
Yep.
Okay, and then, we printed off the committee assignments, I know I emailed them, but we also printed them off. We had talked about the last meeting, adding like an athletic booster club kind of liaison or representative. In the past, really all we have to have is a CARBS representative, because we're a member and we're a voting member of that, so you have to have a board. The rest, they kind of want some type, you're not really a representative, but you're there just pretty much to attend the meetings and then come back when we have the board meetings and relay the information to the board and to the public, like, because we're, yeah. So we added the ones we're a member of, like the foundation, Beecher Education Foundation asked, the scholarship committee asked to have one. On the Beecher Chamber of Commerce, we're actually a member, we pay dues and stuff for like, that is. But I got thinking if it was mentioned to kind of have one for the athletic booster, should we just have one for everyone? Because then we could even add the Beecher Youth Commission and the PTO. And then that way it's kind of split, the duties are like everybody has one. It's not extra work for just 4 people. Or we can kind of scratch it and be like whoever wants to go kind of goes and we just have one for the CARB. That's kind of the directions we need to go. I kind of assigned the other ones because, like I said, they had asked and they wanted them, and I just kind of did that. But then I got thinking when we're starting to add one, it's getting to where almost everyone has one. So if we're going to do that, then everyone has one. That's just kind of, you have your 2 committees, and then you have that. We can do that.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good idea to have them. I know that there was something that came up with the Education Foundation, and I was like, oh, well, this would be good to help that communication from the school to that foundation if there was somebody who was just kind of, going and monitoring. So, I mean, I think that that's good for like PTO too, because like sometimes PTO is doing an event, and since I don't have kids in the elementary school, I could have helped build a playground or done a cleanup day or something, and I'm like, oh, I didn't really know that. So I do think it's good to, maybe just.
I would ask them if they would like one instead of just, are you
Yeah,
saying you're
just
just
not
gonna
assign,
assign, you're gonna
yeah.
ask them first?
Well, as I said,
Just to make sure.
Yeah, if we do the booster club, then I said the BYC and the PTO, everybody gets one, so everyone's assigned one.
Yeah, and I mean, I think our role is not to, is not to sit and, our role more is to gather that information from them and then make sure that it is to all board members and whatever needs to get back to the superintendent or the school,
I think something like BYC would be good, because I know they plan a lot of events.
Well, that's just why I got to think, I was trying to get to where we had 7. So those were the other things I could think of, because right now, we have the ones that requested, and if you add the booster club, well, you're already at, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 2 more. When we have the PTO and the youth commission, then like I said, everybody has one, and there's no, like, it's extra work for certain people and not certain people. Everyone has one, so it's kind of across the board, trying to make it as fair as possible. Some meet more often than others, and that's the other thing too, like, what we had originally the 4 that were assigned, we can kind of change those up, like you said, and based on like maybe what is someone interested in, but it's gonna be the same thing like the committee assignments.
Right.
We had 3 committees that everybody wanted to be on. So it doesn't really work, you know, I can be like, okay, well, who wants to do the athletic booster? And we have 6 people that want to do it. So I can do it like the same way I kind of did before. Everyone can email me, you know, your top 2.
So I'm already a commissioner on BYC, just throwing it out there. I don't know if that's a conflict or not, but if it makes it
Well, no, because
easier,
you're
I'm already
not,
going
you're not
to
making any
meetings.
decisions, yeah, you're just going, that's where I think also like it may be beneficial. If you're already a member and you're already active within this group, because that's the same thing. I got thinking, well, for the Chamber of Commerce, I don't even know if, are you a member?
No. we were
Okay, because I got thinking that too, I was like, you may already be a member, and then it's, you know, it's 2 birds in 1 stone, it's not extra work for someone.
We talked about becoming members, so if we do, then yeah.
Because that's what I was kind of thinking too, yeah, try to make it easier on people if you're already involved within something, that makes it a little easier.
Well, I think it's good for communications, because I know a lot of times there is some double booking of events. And I just think especially groups like BYC who do things for a variety of ages. And if we can communicate more, so parents aren't choosing, do I go to X or Y? Or is the gym booked because we can't get a dance because basketball's in there? And they don't know that rec is every Friday because their kids don't play. Or whatever it is. I think that might be helpful to be able to bring stuff back. I just think it's-
Or have someone to ask questions, because I know that sometimes when I was on the BYC, like, we would be like, well, we don't know. Or especially what they do need is someone who can communicate to the schools when there's opportunities for those high school students to get hours and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, Mandy's right, we probably should reach out before we're like, hey, guess what, you're getting a person. So we probably should reach out and make sure that that organization is good with it. But, I mean, I think it is good to,
Well, anything that can help communication within the community I think is great, and this is just another way, like if we can have, you know, you have your meeting and you come, okay, so the youth commission's doing blah, 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 when we have our upcoming dates and stuff, it doesn't help because, or it doesn't do anything but help because maybe you have a reach. You have people that are watching school board meetings that don't know when those meetings happen or anything happens. It's just aiding in communication with the community, I think. But I just kind of wanted to make sure everyone's okay with that, and I kind of want to try to get, like, same with committees. I think if you're in something you're interested in, you're going to do better. If you're just assigned to something you don't want to go, well, then you're not going to go, and you're not, you know. So trying to do that as much as possible, but it's a little harder on these because there's only 7 of them, and like I said, if everybody says, oh, I want this one, well, that's not going to happen, and then who gets the short end of the stick? So I would say if everybody could email me their top 2, I'll try, and if not, then I'll email back and be like, okay, we've got 6 for this, give me a 3rd. And we'll kind of see what everyone says and what they do. Because I think it's something additional you're going to have to do, so I kind of want people to do what they want.
I don't know, I feel like I kind of already established.
Yeah, though, well, and I don't know that anyone else wants yours.
But I'm great.
Yeah. And then, like I said, it may not work, and it may just have to be, okay, we're just gonna keep these, and the ones that weren't assigned, I'll split you up on that. I'm not promising you'll get what you want. I'm just trying to achieve that, because I think that just makes everyone happier and makes it works better. Like I said, if you're in something that you like, you're passionate about, you're already involved in it, it makes your life easier. And we don't want to make it harder. So I will do that in the next couple of days. Do we have any other discussion items on there?
Under committees?
Under board retreat. D, other discussion items?
E.
I don't have any. Oh, you do? Why you got more? You have more than me.
It's just A is the executive session,
Oh, okay.
so it's just a line difference.
E.
True retreat, no.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah, go on.
Do we have a date on negotiations with the,
So I sent, iron it, one gets it all, gets it. I didn't send it to everybody because it's negotiation, sorry. The local 777 has provided 6 days. Ms. Flores, who's the chair, has a lot of difficulties those days. So it's gonna be up to her to maybe pass off that if you guys wanna meet before then, but, I kind of wanted to get a consensus from the committee, and then I'll reach back out to her to say which one of those days work best for you guys to at least start those conversations.
Okay.
So which one of those, I think it was the 12th, what today's the 12th?
Today's the 10th.
So.
That's what I said.
Like, I think it's the 10th, wait. Yeah, there were unfortunately a lot of day
Days, yeah.
options, and with my current workload, I don't have a lot of day options. So the soonest for me personally was the 28th, and that leads us right into the, like right near the end of the contract. So if anyone else is available, one of the others, 9 to 2, and I think they gave the 20th, if I'm not
So
mistaken.
the 12th, the 13th are 9 to noon, 9 to 2, and then 17th, 20th, and 28th are all day. I would assume if they say all day in their world, that's probably 8 to 3 or 8 to 4.
Yeah, because I was like, anytime after 5 is fine. Yeah. So, I mean,
And we don't have to have 3.
I would concede to, if you guys want a date, and then I will look at what my schedule is at that, and what is happening right there at that moment. So, Do my best.
Both Larry and Ashley said that the 12th would work. Do you want to set up to see if they can do the 12th just to hear their initial proposal?
I can come the 12th.
Just to get it.
Just to kind of get it started and,
Actually, if you want, I'm not doing anything.
And that was morning, they went to 9 to noon, I think, on that,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
9 to 2.
9 to noon on.
On the 12th, 9 to
That-
2
Well,
on the
that's
13th.
their opening, so I don't know if the 2 to 3 hours. And her name's Rita, I can send Rita a message saying, the board, right now, they're working on a schedule, but we would love for July 12th, 9 AM, to hear the initial proposal, have preliminary.
Because then at least you get it.
Yeah,
You can review it
preliminary
whenever.
conversations, and then set up some appointments at that time.
Yeah.
If you're fine with that, I can reach out to Rita. I'm sorry?
I said the 12th would be a no for me, but you're more than welcome to get the contract.
Well, as I said, then you get it and then
Okay.
we can send it to you. That's all they're gonna do, it's just gonna be, these are what we want,
Presented.
okay.
It's gonna be an introduction, they're gonna,
Yeah.
this is,
What we want, okay, we'll review it and we'll.
And I'll make
it.
sure that I lay it out that way to Rita,
Yeah.
that this isn't, we're not gonna sit there for 4
sit
hours.
and
Yeah.
negotiate.
Right, we're just kind of, let's hear where you're at, what the thought process is.
All right,
Otherwise, it's to the 28th.
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
And then, do we know who is planning on going to the school board conference in Chicago the weekend before Thanksgiving? So that we can start getting hotel rooms and pay for that and stuff, does anyone know? It is the Friday and Saturday in November. Let me get you the date.
17th, 18th?
Yeah, it's the week before, I know.
Is it all day on Friday?
It depends what sessions you want to do.
Kind of, yeah. The Friday morning is more of the, like there's a board president one specific.
Okay.
There's some kind of specific to admin, and then after like 12, 1 o'clock, that's kind of when it opens up. That's the first session, first general session, then there's there's probably one you guys would attend Saturday, or Friday. And then Saturday's kind of the
Yeah,
big one.
Saturday's
We go
all
to
day,
4 to
and
5.
then Sunday morning, there's always like a couple of, they're not really sessions, they're just informal meetings, like if you wanna go to the rural schools one, if you wanna go to board presidents, if you wanna go to this, you can kinda go. It's just kinda like a breakfast, it's not really anything,
So
like a,
the Saturday is like the main day.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So can we just go for this the day and not worry about like?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I say I might just do just
Yeah.
days off.
Yeah.
There are a certain amount of people that can only go or?
Nope.
No, no, it's just the
There are
earlier you
districts that
go,
send all
the whole
7 of their board
board, and
members.
yeah.
Okay.
yeah. But it's getting like last year, we dug our feet. So we were at different hotels and things like that. It's one of those, the earlier you can get, if you're gonna stay for a couple days, you need a hotel room. Everybody but, well, if you notice, everybody but the superintendent was at a different hotel.
Add this,
Make it
the
balance.
superintendent will not throw board members under the bus.
It's all board members.
I'm trying to gauge like.
Well, I don't think you have to decide right this second.
So when we, when's
days
it,
off.
when, we have to tell you by?
Well, there's a early registration
That's open now.
That's discounted.
Okay.
So I've done that, I'm gonna do that one, because I'm going. But I will find out the deadline for the early registration.
And who do we tell for sure? Do we tell you? Or do we- oh,
December's
Katie,
opening now.
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Katie's gonna do it, but
Okay.
Yeah. And it has, like, there's an app you download and it'll have like all of the sessions for Saturday and you can kind of save them and mark what you want. There is a lot. I mean, you can,
And
it's
it-
just based on what you're interested in or what you want to learn kind of more about.
Yeah, it has descriptions of what it entails and.
the nice thing about it, and especially as a first-year superintendent, and then talking to the board members that we brought along, the perspective.
Yes.
Like, not only that, I think Brandy may have gone to one where like they listed all the jobs that they have in the district, and she goes, we don't have any of those.
Yeah, we went to that was very eye-opening because I sat in a rural session. It was about rural schools, so that was very eye-opening to see how many downstate schools or smaller districts or community districts that are in the same boat as we are. And to see what they're doing in the state to, help that was interesting. But yeah, when we went to, I went to a session and it was their director of social media. I'm like, we don't have a director of social media, or like this, the manager of like this whole thing. And I'm like, we don't have a manager, and if that's a manager, she must be managing people. Like it was very eye-opening to see
And
how large
there
the
is,
districts.
yeah, and there is a lot of stuff that doesn't pertain to us, but there is some stuff like, I always enjoyed the smaller rural school facilities one. To get ideas on how they update their schools with
With
grants
no
that
money.
you would never heard of, or not
Yeah.
having money, or how they, getting ideas as far as that goes, is always interesting to me, because things that you wouldn't think of that you could do, and how they do, or how they repurpose things, and they'll, they have pictures and presentations, and all of the, there are all presentations by the school boards and the
Yes.
school board members or the superintendents and stuff like that. It's not like, some of them are ISB, they come in and stuff like that, but it's just good to learn from the other,
Yeah, and look, like we went to one about, that it was put on by some lawyers, so.
Yeah, that
Explaining
was good.
some things, or taking information, even if it is from the larger schools, and it's like, okay, well, that's a good idea for them, but how can we adapt something like that to, to be for our district, so.
I always like it.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, do we have any items for the August board meeting? No, that'll be another normal one with all the principals back and everything like that.
Yep.
Hopefully we have a
Is that
math
the
teacher to hire.
11th? What's the August board meeting date?
14th.
14th? Oh, so it's the day before the first day of, for staff.
Oh.
Let's make it a long
for
day.
staff.
For staff, yes.
yeah.
Students are
Did we
16th.
approve a calendar? Did I miss that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Long time.
it's on the website.
I just want to make sure. I couldn't remember.
The 16th is the first day for kids?
Yes, 15th is Institute Day, 16th is staff.
The same day, I said.
And then next week is registration week.
Yep. Yep. So upcoming dates would be that. Monday is registration day.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday,
Monday.
Wednesday is 8 AM to 2.
Yeah.
And then Thursday is the evening day, it's 12 to 7. Joe Dunk will be here from 7 to 7 every day.
Making sure it all gets done.
All right.
So.
Get him some more chicken.
Okay, does anyone have anything else that we need to add, you think, for the August board meeting, or any upcoming dates we need to be cognitive of?
Do we know what back to school is?
Mr. Meyer actually came and talked to me today. I think the 16th, the junior high and high school are kind of doing a pairing. I think they're going to overlap an hour, but it's going to be like an hour. I think it might be like a 4 to 6, 5 to 7 kind of thing. And the elementary, I didn't get a hold of Ms. Black about that, but It's gonna be within the first few days.
Got an email for, I know,
And then there's a
the
freshman
freshman orientation.
Yeah.
I already got that
Yeah,
email.
that's the 12th, I believe. Mr. Myers had it.
It's the same day as CARS. remember
Which I
that.
know exactly when that CARS meeting is.
No, the 10th is orientation.
The 10th, yeah,
August 10th
freshman
is
meeting.
orientation.
Got it in
Oh,
there.
the
I'm like,
15th is
oh, good, I
supply
got an
drop-off.
excuse.
I don't know why I had that. Someone must have shared that
We do supply drop-off?
at elementary.
At the elementary.
Oh, I'm saying.
Not the high school.
The little kids, because of backpacks.
Can't carry it all.
Two bags.
Bring in your 20 boxes of Kleenex.
And then I need more at Christmas.
Yeah. Okay, so I need a motion to adjourn our July board meeting. So moved.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,